Hello, what up guys? How you doing? It is Lasty here. Welcome today to a new episode of the FIFA 20 Ultimate Team Road to Glory. This is episode number 183. Damn, we are getting closer and closer, aren't we, to that 200th episode where I'm going to have to do another edit, aren't I, of highlights from episode 100 to 200. That'll be fun. That's normally about 48 hours worth of footage to edit down, which is always a tough ask, but hey, we'll get there. If you do enjoy today's episode, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. We are shooting for 2,000 likes. If you can make that happen, you'll make my day. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Click the noti bell. Let me know that you're in the noti gang. All of that good stuff. So, if you look at the team, you can see that obviously Roy Keane isn't there. You know that we listed him in yesterday's episode. He didn't really sell. So eventually, after about 6 or 7 times of listing the Irishman up, we got 450 for him. Sometimes I'd seen him down at 420. Sometimes I'd seen him back up at like 460. Didn't quite work out for us, but we got 450 out of him. I'll take that. And with some of that money, we've gone out and bought ourselves a record breaker Aguero. Because I know that's a completely different player. Like, we've just sold a CDM to buy a striker. What is that all about? Well, like I mentioned as well, I think what we aim to do is play Cyprian and Atal as the centre midfielders. And then, of course, what we're looking for is one more attacker. Aguero fits perfectly into that squad, keeps everyone on the correct chemistry and stuff. And he's someone that I've wanted to use for a while. I've got sort of like worrying thoughts about him. Like, I don't feel like he's going to be that amazing, and it's all that card design is what you're paying for. We can hope that that's not the case, but we will obviously give him a shot in today's episode and see, you know, for the final part of my weekend league and see how it's going. So yeah, like Atal, new chemistry style, put a sentinel on him because I just want that defense and I want that physical boosted up as high as it will go. It basically makes him a very, very well-rounded card with some good defensive stats and has that capability of getting forward and helping out in the attack. And then obviously this is how I'm going to play everyone. Basically Aguero is just going to go in at left striker where Atal was before. And to be fair, like, he was getting fairly good contributions, but I just don't think he's perfectly suited for that striker role. So we're not going to use him there anymore. So we go into my first game of the day, which is actually my first game of a session after the night before losing 5 games in a row. So my head was all over the place from FUT Champs, and we know that can happen, right? Weirdly enough, Atal gets me a goal from centre mid to put me 1-0 up in this game. So showing that even in that position, he is probably still going to earn himself like contributions, get some goals, get some assists. We've seen it with Alwar in that free roam midfield position. He often gets on the score sheet or gets a few assists every weekend league and stuff. So I won't be surprised when Atal still gets himself up there and does work. And again, he even pushes forward to get the assist for the 2-0 goal. And it is Aguero getting a goal on his debut. Not much that he had to do for that one, to be fair. But he was in the right spot at the right time, held that line well against the defence. And of course, was able to just tap it home to put me 2-0 up. Neymar then knocks it into Bernardo Silva, into Aguero, back to Atal, and he has just proven to be such a great player from that spot there. I almost feel like we've done the perfect thing. Like, he's just genuinely so involved right now, and it is that man again, Atal. So 1 goal, 2 assists from him since moving him to centre midfield. That's like more than he was getting when he was up front. So gets a goal to Kent, or gets the ball across to Kent, who scores the goal. And that's going to bring us up to 11 wins. We go into the next match. And I come up against this, and I'm like, Jesus, man, that is one hell of a squad. That Frank Ribery scares the life out of me. To be fair, so does Mbappe, so does Sane. And that Alaba and Zakaria defensive partnership is something which should not be messed with. I'm telling you right now. I have come up against Zakaria a few times. The man's a beast. I genuinely wish I did him. Like, at the time, I didn't quite have the coins. And, of course, he doesn't really fit into my squads. But as a first-owner Bundesliga centre-back, I don't know if you're going to get much better than that this year. Until, like, Team of the Season comes around and stuff, I guess. But, yeah, like, we end up going 2-0 down. And this guy was just better than me. I just knew it. So, of course, we're just going to head out of there. And that sent my head spiraling again because essentially, and then I come up against this and I'm like, Jesus, man, what is actually going on Like, what is actually happening right now? Why? I'm on, like, +3 form or something. How on earth am I matching up against these teams in the latter stages of the weekend league? I just don't get it. To the point where I'm not sure. I don't know what matchmaking is right now. I was watching someone stream the other night who was 20-0, and he matched up against someone who was 19-9. How does that work? Like, it just genuinely seems random at this point. I thought for a while there that the matchmaking was really solid, but whether or not they've widened the gap as less people are playing or something, I don't know. But it feels like it's getting harder. It feels like the casuals are dropping off, and we lose yet another game, and once again, my head was in the toilet. I didn't know what to do. At this point, I needed, 3 wins to get to 14, and I'd lost so many games in that session. Like, out of the last 8 games, I'd lost 7 of them. That is where my head was at. I'm sure you guys can picture what that feels like if you've ever been in the weekend league and experienced how awful that is. So it just, I don't know whether it was like, I was at the point where, is it my controller? Is it the servers? Is it my team? Am I doing something wrong? Like, what is the issue here? Why can't I make it happen? And why am I playing so bad? I guess it was probably because I'd let it get to me, right? But we eventually score a Neymar free kick. First one of the weekend, I think, actually. First one for a couple of weekends, maybe. I'd been hitting them poorly recently, and I actually managed to get that one. He moved the goalkeeper, but he moved him a bit too far. So unconventionally, I just hit it in the other corner, and it still went in. And that was probably the first time I've ever really done that. People are more savvy to moving the goalkeeper now so that it blocks that top spin free kick. But a little bit like me, I've done it sometimes as well, where if you move that goalkeeper just a step too far, it leaves this whole side of the goal free, and that is where you're gonna find the empty side of the net to strike your ball. So we eventually get the next win, and we held on to that one very, very well. Like, we outplayed a lot. We outplayed that guy a lot. We moved on. Oh, girl. It said girl player. Girl power. It could have been a female playing, of course. And then we go into the next match. I was like, with this team, I was kind of overconfident just because I know that I'm on low form. And I just see that there's a lack of chemistry in the squad and stuff. But I go 1-0 down, of course, because, again, Lasty doing his best to just ruin his weekend league. We push through and we end up getting the goal with Neymar. 1-1, and we push through. Aguero's getting through here. Berber spins inside, knocks it into Atal, but a good save from the goalkeeper there stops me from getting into the lead. But I should be in the lead, looking at those stats at half-time. Yeah, it's a fairly even match, but we've had the better of it. So, later on in the second half, 60th minute, basically, Neymar works his way into the box. I just do a little bit of left-stick dribbling. And it actually paid off for me because for this moment, these defenders just held off and were waiting to AI block it, I think. So I just weaved around until I could find that little space to score. And obviously in the 92nd minute or something, he finds a way to back heel it with Maddison into Plea. Into Ousmane Dembele, should I say. Plea scored the first goal, didn't he? And get that equaliser on me in the 92nd minute. Of course, sending this one to extra time. And mate, the expletives coming out of my mouth at that point in time were not pretty. I was in a world of pain. we push on in to extra time, and it is 117 minutes on the clock. I finally get the 3-2 winner. At least I hope I do anyway, because, like, come on, man. We need to not be conceding at this point. But I actually get through again, and Kent does manage to put me 4-2 up, and that relieved some pressure, of course, because we are going to definitely come away with the victory there. 4-2. I think I actually went ultra attacking, constant pressure, 10 depth in my 4-4-2 rather than 4-2-2. Because I didn't want to go to penalties. I know I lost the last penalty shootout that I went into, so I didn't want to do it. I couldn't do it to myself. So anyway, we go into what we're sitting at now. We're at 13 wins. We come up against Adama. We come up against Musa Sissoko. Like some very standard like meta players that we come up against at this point of the game. Neymar with some great left stick dribbling there, and just absolutely rifles it into the roof of the net. So he is the one that carries this team fully, and I am going to just go ahead and open up my weekend league statistics Excel spreadsheet so I can talk to you guys a little bit more about how we got on in this final weekend league. So we actually go 2-0 up there, and it is Overmars assisting Neymar. So let's talk about it, shall we? We're going to get our 14th win here, and we're going to be done with the weekend league. my head wasn't really in the place to try and get another 4 more wins for this for the 87 guaranteed pack. I didn't really feel like playing that extra to get another 87 for the club. I'd rather just pay 20k for it at this point. That was my reasoning. I hope you don't mind. But in terms of stats for this weekend league, let it be known that we scored 20 less goals in the same amount of games as we did last week. It's been a low scoring week for us. Key stats. Well, Bernardo Silva scored 4 and assisted 7. And Overmars scored 3 but assisted 9. So Overmars actually came out with 1 more contribution than Bernardo Silva. So although I thought he was being quiet and not that great, maybe, just maybe, he's actually fairly good. Or was it a quiet week for Bernardo Silva? You guys can judge that one as you wish. Atal, 10 goals, 11 assists. That's pretty good considering a few of them he moved back down to centre mid. I think we're playing him in the right spot now. You can see that Aguero got 1 goal, 1 assist in 6 matches. Wasn't particularly happy with him, and he won't be staying at the club. But I wanted to try something. I wanted to just see if that maybe was the difference. You know where I was at with my headspace in this weekend league. Maybe that was the difference maker. Maybe seeing that record breaker card amongst the rest of my team scares people enough to maybe want to quit against me or something. But it didn't really work, did it? And then Neymar, 24 goals, 8 assists. The guy is a hero. 32 contributions in 22 matches. He genuinely carries me. He's got the rest of this team in a backpack on his back because he's that good, essentially. That is where we are at with Neymar. I am so happy I did the SBC because he's genuinely my favourite player. And he's a joy to play with on FIFA 20, I'm telling you. It's looking likely that there's going to be an Mbappe Player of the Month for the Ligue 1, which is crazy considering like you could then literally link 2 of the best players on the game together with highly stat boosted. What would he be, a 94? Oh my god, that's going to cost a couple million, isn't it? And at this point in time, I obviously have nowhere near enough coins. Even if I sold everything, I chill at around 500,000 at the moment. So there is just no way that I'll be getting a Player of the Month Mbappe unless our crazy pack luck can just spice back up again and we get a really good tradable card. But even then, to make 1.5 million, it's going to have to be someone massive, and I just don't see that happening. Be like icon moments that's tradable or something, and that's just not, I don't think that's going to happen. So yeah, like we scored 51 goals this weekend league, and we went on at one point we went on a 5-loss streak, and at one point we went on winning 1 game from 8. So yeah, that was why my headspace completely just fell off. But at one point we also won 10 out of 11 games. So at the start it was really, really good. So I attempted to sell Aguero. He didn't really sell at that point in time. I was trying to get a little bit more than what I paid for him and stuff, and I will eventually sell him. He's the record breaker, so he's fairly limited and he's fairly like sought after. So he's not going to drop like a rock. We'll probably lose a little bit of tax on him, but you'll see in tomorrow's episode what we eventually are able to sell him for, because I will keep continuing to try and sell this guy on. Obviously, a couple of days ago we had like the Zarate SBC, and like the Player of the Month Messi came out. 489 rated squads for him, and I think fodder's really low right now, and he sits at like 2.6 million or something. So if fodder raises for any particular reason, then he is going to be an over 3 million coin card. Now I would just strongly recommend maybe not going for that. I don't know if that's a good idea, really, in reality. So yeah, like, let me know though if you are someone crazy enough to do that. That's from me speaking of doing a 2 million coin SBC for Neymar, by the way. So if you want to do Messi, go for it. But I'm just jealous because I can't afford it at this point in time. So then there was this 11 Cruise SBC, which essentially gave us a 50k pack, and we had the players in our club to complete it. Now, what I also benefited from this SBC was that popular nation players from off leagues went up in price, and you'll see in tomorrow's episode how we're able to make an extra buck from that, which is actually really quite nice. Because I'm going to experiment tomorrow with actually buying some packs with coins, some gold packs with coins. So we'll go into that one tomorrow and see how that goes. But from our 50k pack, unfortunately for us, we get an 82 rated as the highest, and then an untradeable Libertadores player. That's not really going to do much for us. I guess we could use him. You saw the new League SBC. excuse me, League SBC stuff that we showed you earlier on in the video that I didn't talk about at the time. But the new Libertadores, like League SBCs, they don't actually require stuff from specific clubs, but just the specific card types and stuff, for 3 pretty good options for each league. So yeah, maybe let me know if you've done any of those down below. So in terms of this team, I've got a little bit of an idea of what we could possibly do. Now, it might slightly affect our chemistry to the point where we have a few players on off chem where we actually, even with a manager and stuff, we're under 100 chemistry. Does that affect any of you guys? Would that affect our team too much? We'll find out, as I'm pretty sure I'm going to pull the trigger on someone. And we're going to unlock or get a new player for our club. But yeah, like this Aguero is going to go. Hopefully what that leaves us with is somewhere near the 500,000 coin mark. And that would be a decent budget to buy someone else that could either play as a cam or a striker. Yeah, we'll figure that out, won't we, in tomorrow's episode. Guys, if you did enjoy, do me a favour, hit me with a thumbs up. I'd greatly appreciate it. As always, we're shooting for 2,000 likes. Let me know what you got in that 50k pack, by the way, in the comment section below. And come and follow me on Twitter and Instagram, which is also below. And most importantly, I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll catch you tomorrow with another episode. Peace.